After their decision today, both players will have played their last down here at Bright House Network Stadium. Well, Christy, last night SGA Senate voted to impeach President Westbrook. We sat down with the student accusing her of these charges. This property is worth a little under $700,000. Well, to be honest, Ashley, Westbrook was very upbeat. She's confident that her side of the story will clear her name. So after all of Coach Bolden's accomplishments, in 2012 she reached the pinnacle of her career. Last night, SGA Senate voted against removing student body president Melissa Westbrook from her office. Last week we told you about an unhealthy new trend among college students called drunkorexia. Well, Christy, last night SGA Senate voted to impeach President Westbrook. We sat down with the student accusing her of these charges.
I think the minute you step out of line, you open yourself up to the consequences.
Last night, UCF Student Government Association Senate voted to impeach SGA President Melissa Westbrook. The Senate found each charge against Westbrook to have merit. UCF SGA Senator Clifford Rice called for Westbrook's impeachment last Thursday. However, Rice filed the impeachment affidavit as a student and not a senator. Rice claims that Westbrook committed 3 impeachable offenses. In an affidavit, Rice alleges that Westbrook made it hard for students to apply for open SGA positions, violated sunshine laws, and spent more than $100 of SGA money on a rental car while attending the Fiesta Bowl. Rice believes everyone in SGA should be held accountable no matter what.
I think it's the principle of the matter. I don't think it's how much you spend. It's, did you use this money wrongly? It wasn't, oh, well, you got a budget deal. It's still a matter of principle.
Now, Nightly News scheduled an interview with President Westbrook. However, she canceled at the very last second, and instead she released this statement here. It reads, "I have chosen to decline this interview due to the ongoing process. I am positive that all efforts were dedicated to making UCF student body a reflection of greatness, and I am confident the facts will support this in the upcoming Senate hearings." Christy? Faith Deliverance Temple has been in downtown Orlando since the 1980s, but now it stands in the path of the city's planned soccer stadium. The city has made an attempt to buy the church, but the two sides are having trouble reaching an agreement. This property is worth a little under $700,000, so the city offered the church $1.5 million. However, the church's counteroffer shocked even Mayor Buddy Dyer.
Our initial offer was twice that, or $1.5 million. They countered at $35 million and then went to $40 million. So while we want to be very fair to the church and continue to work with them, and we will do exactly that, we have to be prudent with our taxpayers' money. The church wants $35 million because in 2007, Orlando paid First United Methodist Church that exact amount in order to make room for the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center. The City Council approved the use of eminent domain on Monday, which will allow the court to decide how much compensation the church will receive. I spoke to UCF political science professor Aubrey Jewett about the legality of eminent domain.
It's the power of a government to be able to take private property for public use. And of course, because of the U.S. Constitution, when the government does that, they have to compensate fairly the person whose property they take.
Church representatives could not be reached for comment, but Mayor Dyer says that the city of Orlando will continue to work with Faith Deliverance Temple to strike a fair deal. Reporting in Orlando, Gros, UCF Nightly News. Since student body president Melissa Westbrook was impeached by UCF SGA Senate on January 30th, she hasn't given an on-camera interview. Until now, Nightly News sat down with Westbrook to hear how she plans to fight those impeachment charges. Westbrook is accused of failing in her duty as president by not posting open SGA positions, something Westbrook says isn't her duty. She's also charged with violating Florida sunshine laws by holding an SGA meeting behind closed doors. But Westbrook says lawyers have told her that's not the case.
But, you know, if I have attorneys telling me what sunshine law is and I'm not violating it, and I have several attorneys telling me that, then we have to put into question, if certain individuals can judge me based off of that.
The third and final charge against Westbrook is misuse of funds. Westbrook used student dollars to rent a car while going to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. But Westbrook justifies that by saying that the car rental was needed, and so student fees were used.
When I travel to Florida Student Association meetings, I use the student dollar. I have to, because I'm traveling on behalf of the entire university. It might come out of a different line item, but that's only because a line item is set in place for something that's reoccurring. The Fiesta Bowl is not reoccurring. That's something no one expected.
Westbrook's removal hearing is next Thursday, February 20th. That's when a final decision on Westbrook's status will be made by the Senate. Ashley?
Chris, what does Westbrook expect to happen at the hearing?
Well, she feels she's done enough work to put together a pretty convincing case. She's even received some legal advice from attorneys. But as far as what she thinks will happen at the removal hearing, Westbrook admits it's really up to how the Senate votes. Ashley?